Howdy y'all, hope you having a good day today. We are here with a Blade XL with 80-pound limbs, putting a new string on it, full setup. Well, I've already put the sight on it, but we got to put a rest on it, new sight, new arrows, everything. So I just got the string put on. I got to reinstall this X slide, and then we will set it up. So here we go. Built him a set of strings out of the new BCY 454 material. Some new stuff. It kind of gained, I think Eric Griggs pretty much had the idea for it and was using it as his, I think he calls them ghost strings. And then I guess BCY had enough requests for it that they came out with it for everybody a couple months back. Get that clipped on there. So that's good. Get these screws back in here. This X slide, I was given a couple sample X slides several years ago at the ATA show, and they're well made. I'm not a huge fan of having to take screws out and take 10 parts apart to get it off of here, or to get a string in it. But that's okay. I understand they're supposedly high-end cable slides. Let's press this a little bit, get this on there. It's raining outside. I don't know, I never can tell till afterwards how bad the sound is in the video. This is a metal building, so it may be kind of loud, I don't know. So we got our slide on, make sure it's good and tight. So what we're going to do is go to the vise, get a loop on it, get the rest on it, and then we'll time the cams, get everything right with that. This is a binary system, new breed. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're out of Alabama. It seemed like for a period of time, for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, there was a good many in the area, and then they just kind of drizzled out. I don't know what happened, but good, well-built bow. So let's get this one set up. I'm curious to see what it's going to do. It's going to be on 80 pounds, and the guy's taking it elk hunting, so it should be slinging them. Let's go over to the vise. Okie dokie, we made it to the vise. I'm going to make sure, something kind of sticky on there. I'm going to make sure that our HHA sight is good and snug. It is. We're going to put on one of these sync arrow rests. To me, I like these because they're just as effective as a rest that costs 2 or 3 times as much for a hunting rest. I put one on my Bear Divergent to test out, and so far no problems whatsoever. Let's see if we can get into this thing. We also have a hex light quiver we're going to put on there. I like these quivers. They're like 70 bucks, and we do keep these in stock here. There's 2 buttons on the top, so if it's on your bow, first of all, it's got this to hook on like a limb. I think I forget who did that first, but I wish all quivers would do that. Most of them do. 2 buttons. One turns on a green light on top of the quiver, so if it's on your bow and you're walking into the stand, you got the green light shining. You can not necessarily have to use a flashlight. And then the second light shines down in the quiver hood so you can see your arrows. And supposedly deer can't see a green light, so if it was like super dark or whatever, you could have that on so you could see how to get an arrow out. And then this hooks into the mounting bracket. You can move this left and right. I'm actually going to have to wait to put this on because I need 2 longer screws to get the bracket. Let me flip this around. With a movable sight like this, I got to get this bracket out away from the sight because of this arm here, so I'm gonna have to go and get some longer screws than what they sent, but that's no big deal. Forgot what I was doing. Rest. Get this joker out of here. If you hadn't seen one, let me unwrap the cord. They retail for about 60, 65 bucks, but it's got the same, it flips down, locks up, whole 9 yards. It comes with felt for the launcher. It's got the bar above it. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that our screws are tight on this rest. Just make sure. I'm sure that at the factory they just kind of have a quick little way of tightening it up. I want to make sure it's real good and snug. It comes with felt, a little pad for the to put on the riser, but this has already got one of those shag pads from Vapor Trail on there, so that's actually even better. I've been putting these on my bows. I like it because it's a flip it over. It's sort of a wide pad. You can trim it if you need to, but it covers the whole shelf of the bow. Now, can you see that? Hang on a minute. Zoom this thing in. It covers the whole shelf of the bow so that if the arrow hits it, and it's a real soft rubber. But anyway, hey, excuse my mess. We're right in the middle of the crazy season. I'm just trying to keep my head above water at this point with all these bows coming in. Anyway, let's get this bolted. I like those shag pads with it. We keep them. They're I think $8 or $9 or something like that. But good stuff. Got some thunder happening outside. I don't know if the microphone picks all that up or not. Get this thing on there snug. Get it level. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set the center shot. I'm just going to grab a random arrow that's laying here. Get my left and right set. And if I'm level with the arrow, I'm going to bring the rest up just a hair and get the arrow level with that burger button. Burger hole, excuse me. That's where the rest mounts. I want to move it up one notch. There we go. Let's see if that's got us where we need to be. That looks to be her. We'll get this good and tight. Okay. Now let's just look at the center shaft. I can tell it needs to go way over to the right. I'm just eyeballing it at this point, putting the string in the middle of the riser, looking down at the arrow and putting the arrow dead center of the string. And that is right there. Perfect. Get that snug. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this cord in the wrist. In the cable. Actually, before I just heard let me put this felt on here. I wish somebody could devise a good, here's my idea, somebody take it and run with it. Some sort of almost a felt glove that would fit down perfectly over a rest launcher. QADs are the worst. That stuff they send, I can't ever get it to stick and stay on. Have like a glove made in the same shape of the rest launcher that slides on there, but the bottom of it has a tiny little Velcro thing that goes, and you stretch it down under the launcher and then hook it on the other side. That's my idea, but I don't know. I don't have any connections that could make it, and I don't really want to put a lot of money into it. So somebody take it and make us one. Let's test it out. This, to me, this felt here sticks better than the QAD stuff. They got it cut pretty nice. Okay, I think you can kind of see what I'm doing. Anyway, get that on there. I think I was gonna take and put this in the cable or something. We'll use the string separator. Sometimes you can just tell a string is not going to let you use that separator, and you'll end up fuzzing it up. This string, I can see the fibers. It looks like it would insert easy, so I used it. Most of the time I press it to do all that. So now I'm going to grab all my levels. Arrow level. I got a level that I set on the shelf of the bow just for reference. And I guess I should get one of his arrows out. It's a Black Eagle Spartan. We also keep these in stock. It's a little bit smaller diameter. Actually, I need to do a better Black Eagle arrow review. I got one that I did and it was sort of rushed. But a little bit smaller diameter, but it's just big enough to use a regular insert. So that, I like that. It's 18/64 instead of 19/64. I just like it. I hunted with them last year, I think it was. I've shot the Renegades. I wanted to test them out. Had good luck. The Renegade takes a little half out. I can talk about that later. This one takes a regular insert, and both of them did great. Get some serve in here. Need to find my string level. Let's flip it right here. And the arrow level. Again, I think I've said it in other videos. I'm just making sure y'all can see what's going on. I think so. Some people don't really use this method. They just straight up eyeball the loop. And I mean, I've done it before myself. And most of the time, you can get it close and then just start shooting it through paper and make your adjustments there. But I've found if I get everything level on a newer compound bow, that %90 of the time it'll bullet hole without me touching anything else. So I just always do it that way most of the time. If I'm got somebody in a huge rush standing here, I may just loop it and then we'll go in there and shoot it. But another question I keep getting is, I'll take all this off so I don't knock it off. I keep getting the question of, do I have to be there? Do you have to be here if I'm tuning your bow? And it's sort of a weird answer. I can do all this preliminary stuff and I can paper tune it and I can walk back tune it, and 99% of the time it's going to be right. But it's always nice to have the person here to double check it for them. So like somebody drops off a bow, we have a couple different levels of packages we offer, I guess you would say. So like the highest level is where we do everything, and then they come in and we do it again with them to make sure it works for them. Now I'm gonna be honest, almost all the time it does work for them. And if it don't work for them, a lot of times it's some sort of a grip issue or whatever. And that's one of the things we see a lot is a guy will come in, we'll have it perfect, you know, bullet hole, walk back tune, everything. They'll come in and then all of a sudden get a crazy tear through the paper. So the first thing I look at is how are they gripping the bow, and 90% of the time they're grabbing it hard and torquing it or whatever, and I'll get them to relax their grip and hold it a little different, and it'll bullet hole, you know, more of a torque-free grip. So then you come to the question of, well, if they shoot all the time with a crazy grip, had I rather tune the bow to that grip even though they're torquing the bow? And to be honest, the answer is no, because most of the time to do that, I have to get the rest out of center. I'll have to get it way right, way left. And if it just gets into a whole mess. You know, if they don't torque the bow the same every time, they're going to get crazy stuff going on. I always just try to tell people, here's the two things I see people come in and do. One is just grab the bow crazy. That's what we see most of the time. Two is they've read or somebody's told them, oh, you need to have your hand open. So instead of just having their hand relaxed, they hold it, they force it open. So then all those tendons in there are super hard, and it's not a relaxed grip. So I always tell them to relax the hand. Some people I can get to do this. I really like to get them to hold it like that. Tuck those fingers in, not against the bow, they're just out of the way. And if you got to put a finger on it, put that pointer finger. And if you're holding the bow and you grip a little bit, you're not torquing the bow left or right necessarily. You're just pushing it into your hand. You start putting more fingers on it and you start getting that torque. But anyway, I don't even know how I got off on that. Oh, I got off on it because talking about, do we need you here to tune the bow? So the answer is really no. Most of the bows that get dropped off here, they just want us to paper tune it and hand it back to them, and they go home and sight it in, even though we have the range and all here, and that's perfectly fine. The questions I've been getting it from, though, are the people that say, hey, I want to ship my bow in, but do I need, you know, how's it going to work with me not being there? And I'm just pretty much telling them, we're going to get everything set straight down the center. We're going to get it bullet hole in that way. We're going to walk back tune it, and then when you get it back, you may have to adjust the sight a little bit, but it should be spot on. You know, and I guess that gets into the question of, do you tune the bow to the shooter or the shooter to the bow? And I guess my answer to that is, I don't like taking the bow out of center to make it shoot for somebody with bad form, you know what I mean? So let's get our loop tied on. Excuse me. A lot of people have asked, what length loop do I use? And I'll be honest, I don't usually pre-measure them before I install them. I just tie them, but usually they end up being about 4 1/4. But if somebody's shooting a handheld that the head don't pivot, and I know they're probably not going to pull it back, they're going to twist it, which is going to put torque in the loop, I make it longer. So we're probably at 4 1/2, or maybe a little longer than that. So that's my brief answer. So now we've got the rest on, the loop on, the peep. I don't know where to put it because he didn't have one in it before. This bow, he said it came directly from Kyle Knoll that owned New Breed. I guess it was his personal bow, so I don't know how he acquired it. Like an OD green riser with carbon dip limbs, carbon pattern. But so I'm just gonna I definitely don't want to shoot an 80-pound bow without the peep tied in, because this sucker could fly off. I'm going to tie around it, and I'm going to put it kind of where it would be for me, and then when he gets here we'll set it, but we'll do that in a second. I guess we could go ahead and do it now. Why not? Why not? We'll go ahead and get this knocked out, and then I'm going to go over to the draw board, check all of our usual stuff, the cam timing, make sure we're maxing at about 80. Check the rest, get the rest cord set to the right length, cut it, and then we'll be ready to fire this beauty through paper, cut an arrow, and paper tune it. Make sure that's good and secure. Got it. Okie dokie. I need to put the limb stops back on. I had to take them off to get it in the press. The Easy Press has those fingers that you can bypass these stops with, but I don't know. I'd rather take them off and know that the bow's in there secure. It ain't gonna fly out. That's just me. We'll get these back on. I really think New Breed's one of those underrated companies, and I know they went through some transition here recently. I think Kyle left, and I'm not sure who even took it over, but it's a good feeling bow. It's just, I think they gave it a good run, and there was a few out there. They sponsored some big events. Just getting us lined up. Okay, our stops are on. So we'll go over here to the draw board, check our cam timing, rest cord, get it cut into the right spot, push that down, and check our poundage. And then ultimately, after we get all that fixed, we may have to twist the cable a little bit or do whatever. We'll cut an arrow and go back there and paper tune it. Okay, we made it to the draw board. Let's just give it a quick check and see what we're looking like. £81. That is something else, ain't it? I've never wanted to shoot an 80-pound bow, but we have definitely seen an increase in people that do want to do that. So whatever floats your boat. dokie. So I'm gonna have to put about one twist. It is close on the timing, but it needs about a twist in one of the cables. I'm gonna fix that, and then come back. We're on about 81 pounds, so that tells me that's good. I was looking for between 80 and 82 because the bow's maxed out. So let me get the cam timing fixed, and then let me get out of the way here. Let me get the cam timing fixed. We'll go back to the vise for a second, and then we'll paper tune. Okay, I've got this New Breed Blade XL, 81 pounds, 30.5-inch draw. I just weighed the arrow. First of all, let's see if I can even pull this thing back. I'm more of a 28-inch draw. This is going to be long and heavy, but let's see what it does through paper. Oh yeah. That is a good sign. Let me put up the bow on this hanger real quick and see if I can get you down here on this tripod. We almost got a bullet hole first shot. I'm going to tap the rest over just ever so slightly and shoot it again, but before I do, let's shoot it through the chronograph. What do y'all think? It ought to be moving along, and it was a stout bow, I'll tell you that, but it don't stack up too bad. Here we go, chronograph time. .304, not bad. Got a 400 and right at a 460 grain arrow, just a little over a 30-inch draw. Not too bad. I'm gonna make a quick rest adjustment and shoot it one more time through the paper. All right, let's see what it does through the paper now. That looks like her. So we got us a bullet hole. Let me put this bow up. I can hold it. Got us a New Breed Blade XL, OD green riser, flow orange strings, carbon fiber dipped limbs. Got a new HHA sight on it, a sink rest. Still got to put the Trophy Ridge hex light quiver on there. Black Eagle Spartan arrows. Shooting a little over 300 feet per second with a 460 grain arrow. I'm pretty happy with it. Looks sharp. So, hey, I appreciate y'all watching. And if you need anything from us, give us a call. 864-735-8484. You just let us know what we can do for you. Appreciate y'all watching.